Welcome. My name is Robin Holliday, and I am the owner and curator of Horse Beard Arts Gallery. We're located at historic Savage Mill in Savage, Maryland. It is my absolute pleasure today to introduce you to nationally known plein air artist, Alison Leigh Menke. Welcome, Alison.
Hi, Robin. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share my pieces with you today.
Alison has a solo show going on at the gallery right now called Large Expressions. So for the next few minutes, we're going to show you some of those pieces of work, and Alison and I are going to talk a little bit. I'd like to first tell you about Alison's background. She was actually born in Venezuela, but now she lives, and her whole life she's lived in Clarksville, Maryland, which is right around here. She went to school at the University of Maryland and got a degree in art and art history. She has studied in Greece and Amsterdam, and she goes back and forth to Puerto Rico quite a lot. So she travels all around in her painting, nationally and internationally. And I want to share with you that Alison was recently in the January issue of Plein Air magazine. And Alison is really young, so it's a big deal to have a 5-page spread about an artist in there. So we're very proud of Alison. And so my first question for you, Alison, is how would you describe yourself as a painter?
Well, I think I describe myself as a painterly painter. I'm someone who's very expressive with my brushwork and my intention. And I paint outside, so my muse is usually natural light. It's nature. It's inspired by hiking and travel, and so my painting style really is very loose. It's true to light, but a bit expressive with color.
It's beautiful. And Alison is one of the most popular artists that we have at the gallery. And Alison and I have been working together for 5 years now. So Alison, how has COVID changed your painting this last year? Because I know so many shows were canceled.
Yeah, so back in March, I did an event in Florida, and it was basically at that point where things were starting to shut down, and I had to make my way up from Florida back home. And then we were shut down and my events were all canceled. So I decided to turn it into a year of exploration for myself and for my medium and surface. And through COVID, I've started working on aluminum. I do oil paintings that are both inspired outside. So I'll do small little studies, and then I take them into the studio, and I've been developing them into really large, really expressive pieces with very big tools. And so, you know, things have been difficult with COVID, but you learn and discover new things. And I've really actually loved painting out here in Maryland more and more. So I have a lot of Maryland scenes.
Well, it doesn't look like you were inhibited at all. It looks like you had a great year. So with that, we would like to show you a short video of Alison explaining some pieces from her show. So take a look at this.
Hello, my name is Alison Leigh Menke. I'm so thrilled to bring my pieces to you all this evening. We're here at Horse Spirit Arts Gallery in historic Savage Mill, and I have with me the largest painting I've created to date. It's a studio work. Though I'm a plein air painter, I've, this past year with COVID, really been able to explore the studio and translate small pieces, such as this one, into a large painting. It's basically a palette knife, spatula, brushwork, and all sorts of tools that I've explored throughout this past year, and been able to create the large marks and the large expressions that I hope to share in this show today. So I'd love to share these two paintings with you. Maryland Farm, it's actually a farm close to Savage Mill. is actually a really fun piece because I painted part of it in plein air and then took it into the studio and worked on those big shapes and pulling some chroma and exaggerating some of the color, like the play of purples and oranges here. It's a very active painting. There are lots of sharp lines with my palette knife, big brush work, and I think it kind of zooms into the scene, which is kind of cool. And then this piece is also one that has a lot of motion that's built in with the pattern and rhythm of the shadows. This piece is Autumn Swirl, and it's exactly that. It's a swirl of light, and it plays off of the rhythm of the trees. I love that it's an autumn scene and just a few leaves falling. So Light Brushes is one of over 30 paintings that I did in my backyard when COVID started. I wanted to really use that time to study the light and to work on mark making. And what I did here, which I particularly love about this piece, it's a bit more abstract, it's suggestive rather than necessarily focusing on light. But I was working on mark making, getting those large tools and working on a small surface really helps simplify paintings. So these pieces are near and dear because they are basically the field of my knowledge and what I've learned outside. And I take those and I can translate them into large pieces in the studio. Why don't we talk about statues of the West? I spent a little bit of time in Zion this past year, and I loved the sculptural elements of the rocks out west. And I wanted to create a piece that had both that presence of a large red wall in front of you, but also playing around with different tools, such as some rubber sculpting tools that I used throughout this area. This is a canyon piece. It's of the Gunnison River Black Canyon, and I created it this summer through a photo. I really love this piece because it really plays on design. I've used the shape of the canyon to create this very vivacious blue cavity in the earth, and it's really basically one big shape. So I love this piece because it's a little more abstract, but it's so suggestive of the rich colors that you see in a deep gorge. So this piece, it's called River Walk. It's 24 inches by 24. I really love it because it's a great representation of the color wheel. There's so much chroma in the painting. You've got bright blues, reds, greens, yellows, and it's all moving in a really fun circular motion throughout the painting. It's a really great example of expressive work and mark making.
It's just incredible. So tell us about that large piece. How big is that?
So it is 4 feet by 5 feet, and it's on anodized aluminum. So it's a really rigid surface. And, partly my switching into aluminums really allowed me to paint big. So I've been planning on doing something large for a while. But it's definitely, I'd say a work that I had in my mind for a really long time. And I studied a few photos and created some plein air pieces and actually did, a 24 by 30 inch, 20 by 24 inch painting just to work out what I wanted to say on that large painting. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. There's great texture in the piece, and it's a painting I feel that from far away it kind of calls to you. It's this big yellow glow, and then up close you can really enjoy a more intimate experience with the piece and seeing those marks of palette and brushwork. So it's a really exciting painting. I love it.
It is a stunning painting, and it is what you see when you first walk in the gallery from a distance. And I watch people walk in and just be drawn to the work. Also, Allison, you are making your own frames now, which is a big deal. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I've invested in a lot of framing equipment, and I buy my molding from a distributor locally, and I can select some beautiful moldings and create pieces that are not just the painting, but I build the frame and I can choose exactly the molding I want.
Well,
Or
you've done a wonderful job. You've done a wonderful job. Well, how about if we look at some of Allison's paintings specifically? Right, this is incandescent, so let's look at this one. This is my favorite painting of your show.
it's a wonderful piece. So that painting is a studio painting that I created from a larger plein air study. And it's painted on the anodized aluminum with Gamblin paint and brushwork, palette knife. And it's you know, that kind of explosive energy that you get when you're looking through the woods and out into the light. And I can see why you like that, Robin. It's got that explosive, fun, colorful energy that you have.
It is my favorite painting. And every time somebody steps in forward to look at it, I take a little gasp because I want to sell it for you, but the truth is I want it. So, all right, well, let's look at your next painting. This is fabulous. It's called Clark Farm.
So Clark Farm's off of 108. It's not too far from Savage Mill. And I created it because I wanted to do a local scene, and sunflowers just have such a beautiful presence. They kind of stand up for you. They can strike a pose. They're so dynamic. And I created this piece in a very active sort of way. So you can kind of see that S curve that moves through the painting all the way to the back. And if you look closely at it, hopefully if you come to the gallery and check it out, I've got large marks in this painting. So you can really see the palette knife is very broad and very strong. And then layers of brush over top. But it's a colorful, fun piece.
It's beautiful. And I love the purple in the background. I love that.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's great. As you know, I own one of your sunflower paintings, and it was a birthday gift for my birthday last year. So obviously I love your work. You know, one thing to stop here and tell people is Allison's show is hung in the gallery here at Horse Spirits. We are incredibly careful. Everybody wears a mask. You're 6 feet apart. We don't let many people in, even though the gallery is 3,500 square feet. You know, we just want people to be able to roam around and freely enjoy the art. So we try and make it a very safe experience for you. And also, all of this is online on the gallery's website. So you can also peruse there as well. So Allison, your next painting is called Boldness of the Forest.
Yes, so that's a really bold painting. So it's basically a play on complementary colors. You look at the color wheel, red is on one side and green is on the other. And I really wanted to highlight that relationship in this piece. So as you can see, the shadows play on the complements, and then you've got these beautiful, very vivacious chromatic yellows peeking through the trees. And, you know, as far as the piece as a whole, if you stand back and look at it under nice bright lighting, you see such intense color and chroma throughout. So even though there's shadow, everything pops. It's a lot of pure color.
It is fabulous. Where did you paint this? I mean, where is this from?
It's my backyard. With COVID, I painted all the trees around me many times. And it was just, I loved how the sun would set and you'd have the sunlight reflecting off the grass. So I have a few pieces, and I think the incandescence, it's the same grouping of trees, just a different moment.
This is a large painting. How big is this one?
It's 30 by 48.
Okay. So it's framed spectacularly. You really did a beautiful job in your framing. All right, let's go to the next painting, which is Mountain Living.
So this is a really fun piece. This past year, I was able to hop off to Telluride to do a competition. It was one of the few that remained on schedule because it's an outdoor event. So I drove out there and I decided, let me go check out the Tetons. And I spent a few days there. And we had a freak storm that came through. So it was sunny and warm, but it had snowed the night before. So just one of those special moments you don't often experience in September.
It's really pretty. And this is a smaller painting.
Yes, it's a 9 by 12.
And one thing that's really nice about your show, Alison, is you painted at all sizes. Like we had a very small one and then you went all the way up. So there's all sorts of paintings at different price points because art should be available to everybody as you ascribe to. So I love that about your show.
Yeah, and I think even the small pieces kind of reflect the idea of large expressions.
Absolutely. All right, this is the last painting we're going to look at is Swimming Together, Departure.
Yes, so Swimming Together is a piece that I did from photo of a koi pond in Florida. And I've done quite a few of these paintings. A lot of people like the play of that red and green. But I wanted to use marks that would sort of fade away edges here and there and create that feeling of water and movement in the piece. So that leading fish, looking at it up close, it kind of feels a little wet.
It's lovely. And you've sold your other koi fish paintings that have come into the gallery. So I guess I want to tell people, even though the pictures that we showed you today are still available for sale, I want you to know that since Alison's show began last Sunday, a few days ago, Alison's already sold 7 paintings. So she is one of the most popular artists I have at the gallery. And like I said, she's nationally known. She has traveled the country and wins awards up a storm. It's really remarkable given how young she is as well. And here we are, Alison, watching you out in the wild. What's happening?
So that's a photo of me up in Maine, up on Monhegan Island. And it's basically my getup in plein air. I'm pretty clean. You know, I have this outfit on that's very white, and a lot of people, I do wear white a lot. I don't know why. It reflects the sunlight and I feel cooler, but I managed to keep my clothes nice and clean, and you can see the evidence there in that photo.
Very impressive. Very impressive. All right, we have another one of you in the wild. Ta-da!
Yeah, so that's out in California, and I spent a week out there basically painting mostly on my own, and gosh, it's just there's no better muse or inspiration than feeling and hearing those waves behind you and seeing that color really shine and be true. So really
I can see your face now and in the photo and just tell how much you loved this.
I did. I really did.
Well, one thing, see, everybody take a look at what you see on that canvas right now. Now, I have watched Alison paint, and when she first starts, I have no idea what is going on. But now I want to go to the next slide and show you what her finished product looks like. That is California Ice Plant, and that sold in the gallery to a woman who got married on the California coast. And so she was thrilled, and it is just a beautiful painting.
Thank you. It's so special to hear that my works are being appreciated and enjoyed.
They are. So, I know, so we're done with our slides, but I just want to bring it to an end and say, You know, Allison, you can never say whether an artist's work is going to appreciate, but I will tell you, if I were a betting woman, which I kind of am because I have an art gallery, just being in a more risky business, but you're an artist to watch. You really are. And so if you're the type of person that not only buys art that you love, but you also buy art that you're going to give your children and you have a pretty good chance it's going to appreciate, I think it's your art, Allison. And so I mean that in the nicest way. And the other thing, Allison, I love about you is how kind you are and what a giving person you are. And so, given your accomplishments, that is such a wonderful combination of skills that it's really a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you, Robin.
So as we close, is there anything else you want to say to everybody?
I just look forward to maybe seeing someone at the gallery or hearing your thoughts on the works in this big show. I've really focused so much attention in creating this particular show for everyone, and to show it in such a beautiful gallery that's so loved and so full of talent and great art. It's an honor. It's a win-win. And yeah, these are large expressions, and I hope to continue painting big and sharing my work with you all.
I can't wait for years to come with you.
Thank
So
you,
guys, we're going to end with a quick video of all of the works in Allison's show. So Allison, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you. Here we go. Here's the video.